Hello everyone, this is Adedayo from Streamdorm, and this week we are covering another episode of Peacemaker Season 2. Now, the first episode of Peacemaker was so interesting, and you can go check out our channel or our page, wherever it is that you're seeing this video from, and even though you're listening to it, and go check it out. Interestingly, I love the fact that where this episode is going, it gives us more introduction into the DCU timeline, and it gives us more introduction into what the DCU is all about, the expansion of the DCU, and I really can't wait to like break this down so that you guys can see my thoughts on it, whether I really love it or whether I don't. So make sure you stick around so this review of Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 2. Now, Peacemaker, like I said, was so interesting. The first episode, it really gives us like the whole introduction on what the DC is all about. Interestingly, also, the same thing does with the Peacemaker episode 2. Now, I've said this before on my social media before. A lot of people did not really like understood what I was saying. This is not going to be a straightforward timeline. It fits the story, and maybe in the next 10 years there will be like where everything converges. But it's not just going to be straight. What the episode 2 really did for me. In fact, you're expecting like, okay, where does this how much action are you going to see in Peacemaker? How much action are you going to see in DCU when it comes to the Peacemaker show? You're not really going to see much of that. So after saying what the first was, I expected that they're not going to be that much of fight scenes and everything. So, but if you're not really expecting that, you're not going to. If you're really expecting that you're going to be much fight and there's going to be more conspiracy or more teasing and something, you might not like it. In fact, my first episode of it, I said I gave it a 7.5 or 7.9. Then this time I was critical because I was not able to into this show and able to understand it because it's something that I was looking forward to all week, and I really love the fact that what we got in this episode. So before I really go down to my full review, we'll get into the breakdown of what the Peacemaker season 2 episode 2 is all about. Flag and John Economos walking into Lagos building. Economos showing Rick Flag everywhere about the whole Argos and what they are all doing and trying, like when you just have a new employee. Except in this case, Rick Flag is the new leader. We learned in between was that the president has made Rick Flag senior the new director, the acting director of Argos, and that's because of what they found out about what Amanda Waller was doing. Remember in the Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller was she started this Task Force X, trying to use criminals that they really don't really have much hope. So what can they do in this case? Just make them to do good. But in our own case, it's do good by force. If you don't do what she says you should do, she's going to blow your head off. And now that has a lot of ripple effects. And since this is also before the events of Superman and also the events of Culture Commandos. I'm sorry, after the events of Culture Commandos, I believe what she did with the Culture Commandos also has a lot of effect. So it kind of gave this expectation of what Culture Commandos season 2 is going to be like. Because if Amanda Waller is currently in jail, then who is actually leading the Culture Commandos or the Task Force M? What exactly is she doing right now? Is our series going to be the creation of Checkmate? Amanda Waller, no matter how much they hate her in the entire DC universe, in every iteration, she's always going to be a soldier and she's going to be a useful asset to the government. So she's not someone that really quits like that. So if you remove her from one, she's also going to find something new to do. There are iterations like in Justice League Unlimited, where she's the head of Cadmus. There are iterations where she's head of the Task Force N, where she's the head of Argos, where she's the head of Checkmate. She's always going to be the head of something because she's like a career woman when it comes to securing people, and it's kind of a belief. So it's just like what exactly separates her from Batman, just trying to do good one way or the other, and it can take a lot of toll on the way people perceive you. And the way people perceive Amanda Waller is that she's the evil guy, and she's just like everybody that has power needs to be controlled one way or the other, and that is who Amanda Waller is. And still in that episode, we realize that John Economos call Amanda Waller A-Dubs, and we like trying to give nickname to people. There are people like that who just try to give nickname to anybody that they can. And going further, we saw that John Economos was trying to stick up to McFlag. And if you remember in Creature Commandos, there is this kind of McFlag actually went had a coma, and we can say John O'Connor because of the way he insisted was part of the reason why McFlag was in coma. And even though they still needed him, like there was just like it's still your fault at the end of the day. So I think that's why Rick Flag was like pissed that you're trying to stick up to me, that it cannot work, that you're one of the people that hurts me, and just because I'm in position of power doesn't mean you can just come here and try to become my friend. So we saw that when he got to his office, the first thing he did was he wants to see the full report of his son death, which is understandable. Any father who has the opportunity to see what exactly happened to the son and that died, they're going to try to look for the evidence and everything that they can find. So that is what Rick Flag did, Senior did. Now remember, what happened to his son? Peacemaker killed his son. Why the Peacemaker killed his son? Because of what Amanda Waller did. And who knew what Amanda Waller did? John Economos. And when they were working together during the events of Creature Commandos, he could have at least told him. So he was like, he's trying to save himself that, hey, I didn't really do anything. It was Amanda Waller, so I couldn't say anything. But he knew, and that is why I kind of has this rift between them. That apart from the fact that you put me in coma, he also knew what happened to my son, and he never told me anything. And yeah, we saw he was reading it. So moving on, we got our first introduction into Sasha Bordeaux. Now, in case you don't know who Sasha Bordeaux is, she's a character in the comics, and she has this connection with Checkmates, which is the team that was created by Amanda Waller, and she has a connection with Batman because she also dated Batman and was a bodyguard of Batman. She also has this power called the Omag Cyborg. Now, a lot of people might want to give James Gunn all the praises as one of the best comic book director, because he really as good. He is being rated well by critics and by audience. The box office can be a different conversation, but his box office is actually moderate. So, but he has this kind of thing where he might use a comic book character or a deep cut. No matter, you can just find out that this character exists somewhere farther in the comic book that even the makers of the comic book have forgotten. But what he does that is change something. So I won't be surprised if Sasha Bordeaux doesn't use her power. But I saw some reviews from people that have watched the series, the first 5 episodes of the series. They were like, she did use her power. So I can't really say when she used her power or if she used her power. But I won't be surprised if her power is not the same. In the comics, she has this Omag cyborg. So who knows what the intention is going to be. If you watch Superman, the engineer power was created by Lex Luthor. Meanwhile, in reality, it was like, I think it was in the comic, it was a professor where the professor was the first engineer. He just repeated what he did to himself, I think before his death, where he changed the entire blood and all her body into nanites. I think something like nanites. The same thing with the engineer, but in our own case, she was silver. Meanwhile, in the Superman, she was black. So I won't be surprised if the case in this place is not the same. So we saw Rick Flag reading through what happened between the son. He saw read the whole truth. Now the theory here is that the Peacemaker um narrates everything because we were able to see the last word of Peacemaker. Some people suggest that it was Ratcatcher too, and since Suicide Squad is somewhat canon to the DCU, you can bring back Ratcatcher 2, who is also dead. And the father of Ratcatcher 2 is Taika Waititi, so you can make it that Ratcatcher 2 or Ratcatcher 1 is alive, so you can just change what happened and who exactly made who knew what happened. It can also be Peacemaker. And at the time of Suicide Squad, Peacemaker was still he still had this kind of soldier mentality, trying to protect people by any cost kind of thing. Before we saw this show, so and him feeling regret. So before those regret and everything, what could happen was that when he got back, he gave a full update before going to the house. But even though he was in prison, so what happened? You still have to find out who exactly gave the this thing. Or you could just ignore it and leave it up to imagination, since it's also just comic book media, so there's no really who put so much thought into it. So theory also was that the implant in their head was how they could know exactly what happened, which also it was stated in the same movie that they couldn't get exactly what they were saying because there was some network disruption. So we still have to wait for exactly what exactly happened. So next we saw that Rick Flag Senior went to Sasha Bodo, tell him that he wants full surveillance on Christopher Smith, and Sasha Bodo was like, she had this kind of not trusting feeling that why are we prioritizing all our resources on Christopher Smith, even though he is also in the good graces of our organization. And he was like, I don't really give a shit about Christopher Smith. This is the man responsible for my death. I just need a reason to um arrest him. He's either going to either kill someone or he's going to do something stupid, and that's the reason I can use to get my revenge. So they really did, because it's now the acting director, so they can't really give a shit. And we remember in episode 1, we're able to establish that why exactly are we pulling the entire resources of the organization just on one person. So now we continued with the aftermath of Christopher Smith. What exactly he did? Remember, he went to the other dimension. He got interaction with his other self, and the first thing the other self wanted to do was to kill him. So now we saw this. We saw him trying to get rid of the body. Now, why exactly was he getting rid of the body? Obviously, because he was scared and doesn't want anybody to know what happened to the body. So he was trying to do the cleanup and everything, but the body keep falling down and all that kind of thing. So what what exactly did that mean? It's somewhat funny to me, but in a way it's kind of like it has this poetry to it that you can't really get rid of yourself. You can't hide yourself. You can't hide exactly who you truly are. And that's what I could get when it comes to putting meaning. I have this kind of thing where I say art is subjective, and the same way you look at things is the same different from where other people look at it. There's no objective feeling. That is why a particular movie you may like, other people may hate, or the particular movie you hate, other people may like. So it's subjective. So what exactly could be the meaning within this scene? We don't know, but my own theory, my own feeling is that you can't really hide who you are. Now we got an update of what exactly is happening to Leota Adebayo. Now they are saying it in a kind of annoying way, given the fact that my name is Adedayo and you saying Adebayo. How did they pronounce it? It's kind of annoying. But Adebayo is how may I pronounce it? I don't really give a fuck. We found out that we know initially that she moved out from her own house, but the more details is that they broke up. Her and her wife broke up, and she tried to sneak him back into the house. We saw that the dogs are still the same. We still have that same dog that has clothes on is still there, and it's not really nothing much has changed. So just came to come and take something, still thinking that it's a situation where she can easily win herself over. when you are in a, I've not been in a situation like this, but I believe that in a situation like this, they are still like, it's still something that you can get over it. I've now seen kind of medias and forms of things where people still act normal in a situation like this, even though the other person did not feel the same way. Though there's not really much fight, so we can see that there's still something there, but the wife kind of like don't really, she didn't even love it, because we even saw a particular scene. I don't know why this scene is scattered. I should have said this, but we saw a particular scene where Leota Adebayo was like, she told the wife I love you, and she told her I love you, and didn't get any reply. So it's kind of a messy relationship where there's still something there, but we still don't know what exactly could happen. This is something I should have pointed out. Yeah, is this? Thank God it's still having a bit that she Adebayo wants to start a spy business. We know that, but the wife wants to go back to Gotham, which is kind of weird, because where exactly wants to go back to Gotham, where you can it's kind of like a suicidal feeling, and it's something about the both of them that they still have this kind of weird um thing going on personally with both of them. We have this one who wants to start a spy business, which can eventually kill her, and we have this one who wants to go back to Gotham, which can eventually kill her. So it's kind of a weird phenomenon. But if your mother is the agent, if your mother is a very powerful person, there's always going to be somebody who's going to watch your back, whether you know it or you don't know it. So I believe there's something that, and something I should touch on. So in case I'm really going back and forth, it's because of the way the picture app is reading my file. I tried to make a screenshot, then I sent it to my system, so it might feel scattered a bit. We got the montage between when Rick Flag was reading the what exactly happened to his son, and we were able to see some events of what happened in the Suicide Squad rather, and we saw this part where Rick Peacemaker killed Rick Flag Jr. So, which is canonizing what exactly happened during the Suicide Squad, this particular part of the Suicide Squad. I wrote an article recently on Streamdorm about the bullshitness of the canon and the canon and the red core kind of thing. A lot of people were thinking that it's kind of like a jab on James Gunn, but it's just like a very catchy title so that people can actually get to read it. So it's just basically, unless it's shown, it is canon. If it's not shown, it is not canon. So this particular part of it was canon. And the closest person, by the way, to this place was Raj Carter, too, who eventually died um, towards the end. So we got to see what exactly is happening with Emilia Alcott. We saw this woman trying to comfort Emilia Alcott. Was like, um, I can see that you have this, in most I've not had any, I've never slapped a woman, but I've never this thing, yeah, I've never hurt a woman, but in most media, I just assume that when you slap a woman, or especially when you're a strong man and you try to punch a woman, there's always going to be red eye here. So she was like, she saw this woman with red eye, and she wants to help this woman with red eye, because that's what she's feeling. She's kind of people that wants to help people. So maybe it's something that happened in her own life, which Sasha explains, because she went through something like that. So she was like, she saw Emilia Cause, she was like, I want to help you and all this kind of thing. Meanwhile, that's not what happened. What happened exactly was that Emilia Alcott was in a bar fight trying to get something that's going to keep her going, and she laughed at her, and she even went on to call a particular um person in that particular place. What was it? I've forgotten. It's kind of a moped. Yeah, Baker. Because the area I was looking. So she was trying to help and trying to give this kind of I need to help this person, but the person did not really need my help kind of thing. So we saw that, which was kind of interesting, and we got an introduction into by the way, this is the guy. So so we got an introduction into the character Tim Meadows is playing, which is playing Langston Fleury. By the way, Langston Fleury is an original character created by James Gunn for the show. So he is the person Sasha Bordeaux sent to as to sit down with General Economos. The fact that General Economos is too close to Peacemaker, so even though he has more insight of what exactly is happening, it's kind of like you're too close. I can't really trust your judgment, kind of thing. So when she sent Laxton Fury, she was like, I need someone who's going to be able to do what I need without having to give me much question and trouble like that. So it's kind of funny, but like I said, not every joke um will land. So a lot of jokes in this Peacemaker season 2 so far has not really landed for me. It doesn't get me to go ah ha ha ha. Ha. But it's kind of interesting. It kind of makes it keep going. So like a lot of people you go oh I don't want this kind of joke. I don't want. Sometimes it flows. So you won't really get it, and you have to go and do the research and before you get it. Also find out that Luxor Fury has a bird blindness, which was interesting. I really thought, and at first I thought it was real because HBO released like a kind of advert to do like awareness for bird blindness. So I was doing my research and I was like, is this thing real? I found out oh it's not a real thing, it's just like a kind of gag, which eventually paid off because when he was fighting Eagle, we found that he couldn't shoot eagerly because he couldn't identify what kind of bird it is and identify the size. And the way this thing, the fact that the logic worked for me because I watched a particular Korean movie where the guy couldn't see people's faces. So it's that one is a real thing, but it kind of explains a lot of things because in that guy's case, when you see someone's face, whether it's through a phone or through looking at the person actually, but when it comes to seeing people's face, his brain can't really identify what it's looking at. So it's like um it's what exactly looking at. They kind of shot it or cut it off, so he couldn't really identify. So in his own case, it's more believable for me because I will know that oh his brain couldn't identify the bird, but when it comes to shapes and size, it's kind of like what exactly is the logic. So that kind of thing could really happen. So from now I'm going to be a bit wonky because it's not really arranged for my system, which by the way I'm going to like last week this is actually more better. So yeah, we saw Peacemaker with coffee and drink after coming back from what exactly happened the night before. Oh, by the way, I actually missed something. There was I wish this thing was arranged according to how I set it. It should have made it more interesting. But the next thing actually from what happened here was that oh by the way Langston Fury sexualized Adebayo, which was kind of funny but at the same time was not really well recently I've been so close to the opposite gender and I've seen things from their own point of view that's kind of changed the way I see or the way I talk about things. So I didn't really like the kind of jokes, but it's what it is what it is. So we saw Peacemaker coming back to his own, and that's when Adebayo come in and he tried to explain that Argos is actually monitoring you as we speak. So he was like, "Do you know what the flag know what happened?" And she explained to him that the flag actually do know what happened. Then we also saw him by the way during the trying to hide the body scene. We saw Adrian Chase and he's bringing out the tools. So it was like in his own mind, he's trying to bond with his friend, which in his way is not really is that's not what was happening. He's just trying to use him to try to clean up a body. So we saw him here talking about oh I don't know that you're into sex and he was like well like a lot of people I think it's a major it's a way to bond with my friends and that's one interesting thing that I love about the character. I love the fact that the character has not changed; it still remains the same. But also the comment he made here about him not really being into the sex was like it brings the whole dynamic into the character. A lot of people were saying the character is asexual, but there are some people that are not really into it like that, and there are some people that are actually into it and into it. But it's just kind of or the way people say things. So the asexual sometimes I believe someone would make an argument that you can't really be asexual, it's just that you don't really find you've not found someone that makes you want it. So in this case, um I believe that's what's happening here. It's not really asexual, it's just that he hasn't found someone that makes him want it. Even though he has actually slept with someone with Peacemaker. So that's interesting about the character. And also something that I believe why is screenshot this film was that they called the other side of him doppelganger, not variant. You know, in Marvel, they will call it variant, which some people make sense, but I really love the word doppelganger. I don't know because probably it's because I love the CW shows and I love DC in interest obviously. I love the use of doppelganger compared to the use of variant. Kind of fun way when I hear it from Marvel variants. But if you love it, you love it. So we also got this joke about from Master Fury calling Pokemon instead of saying Pokemon, he's saying Pokemon. And Pokemon to be honest, I'm not really a Pokemon fan like that. But it's kind of interesting to learn and it's also something that was actually funny. Which by the way the interaction here was played up in the post credit scene. And we saw Agent Chase being weird as usual. So I'm just trying to wrap it up so that because since I'm already talking too much. So basically a lot of things that happened in this episode wasn't really um oh, by the way, I forgot to before I skip this. When Christopher Smith went out, we saw the Argos agent trying to go into Peacemaker's house to see what exactly is happening. I love the fact that in this particular scene where they were showing this what exactly happened here, it's a callback to what happened in season 1 where his father was trying to gear up to kill his own son. So it is kind of interesting things to see here. And I love the jokes that Master Fury made to these characters, the names that I gave to them. It's not really just a joke as an insult. It's actually a name that he gave to them to identify them, and it was what he used to call them, and he was kind of serious with it. So I love that. So it's like, hey, I don't know you. Let me give you a name, even though it's a kind of funny, annoying name. But the name was something that I were able to call back and to make that this is who this character is, and it meant it, and it was kind of serious with them as it's not just being funny and being bossy to them. It's actually being their friends, like trying to help them. Like, hey, my guy is down. Let me help you. Not just oh, you're dead. Let me just forget about it. So we also got this Peacemaker trying to go back into this universe, and we got this joke. So basically, a lot of interesting things happened in Peacemaker season 2. And this, by the way, and this entire scene was the Eagle fight. I really love the Eagle fight. So because of time, I'm just going to really skip it a bit. Um, I love things that happened there, going back and basically everything. So, I'm just going to give you my rating for Peacemaker season 2. Unlike the last episode, I love the slow build, and it's not really like fight, 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 trying to bring a lot of action. It's trying to know what these characters have been up to. So, I love that for that. So I kind of love where the Peacemaker series is going. So I really would want to know, and I would appreciate where they get to if there's ever going to be an action sequence at the end of the day. So overall, I'm going to give Peacemaker season 2 an 8/10. Season 2 episode 2 an 8/10 because it's kind of growing on me, and I would love to see where all this leads to at the end of the day. So I really do hope you enjoyed my review and my breakdown. It might not be much. It's kind of confusing, but next episode I do hope that I'm going to actually make this better. You see, I'm always going every single time, and I love the fact that you guys are with me here, going with me. and they're building this community with me. So please, wherever it is that you're seeing this episode from, or where you're seeing this video from, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you are part of the Streamdorm family. Make sure you are following us. Make sure you are commenting to this video. And to be honest, I would do love to see you guys in our follow-up videos as we continue and as we grow. So thank you for being part of this episode, and I would love to see you next time. Bye.